I know. I was so thrilled too, John. When I was directing Transformers at Cartoon Network, Transformers Animated, we brought John back as Blur. It was Blur.
And then you killed me.
You're not dead!
I'm not dead, I'm just smashed. I'm really square now, but
that's right. And,
no cube can hold me down.
And remember, I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah. No, it's great. Sue is the easiest director to work with. She's so great and really has such a great ear and just makes it so much fun.
Well, I have a great respect for you.
Well,
you know?
what can I say? No. And now we have the Mutual Admiration Society going on up here.
Well, and also too, they put an end kind of to RC, not an end, but I mean, she's alive and living and other actors. Damn.
You're inside my cube, baby. They're gonna uncube me and we're gonna find the two of us in there cohabitating. It's gonna be the wedding of the century. RC and Blur.
Yeah.
I've done a bunch of shows with Dr. Ruth and she always says, "Oh, I hope you don't do everything so fast." I did one time, I was doing the Larry King show, and it was Dr. Ruth, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and me. And at the end of the show, we're all standing in line, and Kareem is right next to Dr. Ruth. And Larry King says, "What do you think of her?" He goes, "I'm nuts over her." Yeah. Got a picture of that. And he literally was.
That's hysterical. That's hysterical. Very good. So, welcome everybody, and I think this is a discussion panel, question and answer, so we want to answer all your questions.
Yeah, we were sitting here saying we don't know why we're here or what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So, if you guys have questions or you can ask us anything, so. All right, well, why don't we start right there?
Good.
What would you two say is the biggest difference in doing voice acting now versus doing them back in the days of Transformers and all those other 80s TV shows?
Well, I think it's a little different feel. There's a little more restrictive time that they can use you, and back in the day, they could just really, work you till your vocal cords were bloody. But
there's a story about that actually. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful director Wally Burr. Directed the movie and directed us in the whole series of Transformers in the beginning. But we would go to the sessions, and he was very specific, very talented guy, but very specific on how he would want a line done, because he's also an actor. But the sessions would run a little long, and they'd run maybe 8 hours for a 22-minute show. And I guess finally, a lot of the actors, when there was a separate animation contract that was being derived, and one of the perks of that contract was to cut it down to a 4-hour session, so that for a 22-minute show, we have to get done and relieve the actors in 4 hours, which I think is very fair, because to talk for 4 hours or however long.
Well, Wally was notorious for saying, okay, now I want you to say, "Oh, my struts." So you go, "Oh, my struts." He says, "No, say, oh, my struts." You go, "Oh, my struts." "No, oh, my struts." "Oh, my struts." "No, oh, my struts." "Oh, my struts." And you do it for 20 minutes and be like, "Okay, I'm not getting this, I'm missing it. You're hearing something different, but yeah. I think I sound just like you right now." But
yeah. I think I read Gone with the Wind in one of his.
No, you could very often do that. You didn't have handheld cell phones. You couldn't go be texting or doing anything, so you had to bring other reading material. Yeah. Especially if you were on page 17, and you're just sitting there going, "Oh God, this is going to be like a year and a half before we get to page 17."
I know, we'd be in the lobby, and he'd have his actors that were on that page in the control room or in the studio. Sometimes we all had to be in it started, and then we finally went, "Wally, until our page is up, can we just sit in the lobby and, wait and, smoke cigarettes?"
Do whatever.
Back in the day. And he would go, "Yeah, fine." So, we'd be in the lobby, they'd be on page 5. They had a little speaker in his living room lobby, and, we'd be reading, and somebody would nudge me and go, "Come on, RC, you're up, you're up." I go, "Okay, I'm coming." It was great. But he's very good and very specific, and, we love Wally.
thank both of you for coming to again to Bot Con. It's always a pleasure to have you. Two things, Mr. Nishida. The one thing about your voice is your character voices that we know you for Blur and the Micro Machines guy the tone is still the same. When you're walking around in your regular life, which do you get recognized more as, Blur or as the Micro Machines guy?
Well, actually, I find it's more of a generational thing. People that are older remember me as the guy from Federal Express. You know, the people that say, David's a deal with the dealer, David's a deal with Donovan's a deal, Dick's a deal with David's a deal with Dog, disconnecting, disconnecting. Or, you know, wonderful. Inclusion, Jimbo, Bob, right, little dog, this is we all know, again, something, you gotta do something, you gotta do work, so let's get to work, let's take this meeting. So, people of a certain age remember that. People of another age remember, you know, I'm a micro machine man, and the most miniature motivated micro machines ever. Also, not this one, remember, if it doesn't say micro machines, it's not the real thing. Hopefully, they're bringing back the Micro Machine Man in some context for the new Star Wars stuff. We've been talking with them. They actually are going to have a fast-talking kid because they probably think I'm an old fart now and can't sell Star Wars toys. And they would be right about that.
The series Breaking Bad was made after he did his fast voice.
So, we'll see. But it really is more of a generational thing as far as what people remember you from. I was doing a convention job one time, and the guys are very excited to have me there, and it was a big secret. They couldn't show me, and they were meeting me at the elevator because no one was supposed to know I was there. And there was a bunch of kids outside the elevator, so when I came out, the guys went, look, it's the Federal Express guy, and they're like, what? Because the Federal Express guy, and they go, oh, it's the Micro Machine Man! And there's these old corporate guys had no idea who the hell the Micro Machine Man was, but the kids were very excited to meet him.
That's great.
And Ms. Blue, you probably don't remember me. At the last Bot Con we were at, I mentioned that the next time we were together at the same Bot Con, I would hopefully be able to give you for the first time a G1 accurate RC. And if it's okay with you, I have the Japanese version that I purchased to give you. Can I dub it to you?
I do remember you. I'm terrible on names, but what's your name?
I'm known as Headmaster Don. Perhaps you've heard of me.
Not the Headmaster Don.
Oh my God! I've wanted your phone number for years. Oh,
that's
so
sweet.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That is fantastic. Wow. Huh?
Go Headmaster Don!
It's amazing how when you guys come up for autographs and you bring stuff, I'm like, they made that?
I know, this is so...
I have like one thing of Blur that I've seen, and then I've seen like 50 different versions of me. You know, I'm like, I didn't even have any idea they did that.
I will treasure this all my life. All my life. Yeah. You will not see this one on Amazon. Oh, now you're going to make me feel bad.
But it's for the children.
I know.
Little Susie's not going to eat because you're keeping that toy.
Actually, I was going to auction myself off tonight. Somebody would auction me off.
Auction her off for a date.
To have a date with me, to have dinner with me sometime. So.
Nice.
You want to take advantage of an old lady. Yeah. Why, you little whippersnapper.
First of all, I want to thank you both, John, for bringing us Blur, and Susan, not only for bringing us RC, but for bringing us other shows such as Ben 10. Love that show. I'm curious, they've recently, in years past, they've come out with something called Shattered Glass, where the Autobots are evil and the Decepticons are good. Would you ever be interested in voicing evil versions of your characters?
Well, does it pay?
How much do they want paying for it?
Yeah.
Only if they put a disclaimer at the end. They're really nice. They're just playing evil for the money.
Yeah, exactly. I think, you know, there's a little bit of every part of us in us. You know, I think RC, you know, she was sexy, she was motherly, she was sisterly, she was friendly, she was commanding. And I think also there's a bit of a dark side, possibly, with RC that we haven't investigated yet. And, you know, Bring it on. Yeah, I love playing villains. And can you imagine Blur as a villain? Now laugh really fast.
I don't know if that was really a fast laugh.
Did that answer your question?
Okay.
Hi. I want to know, what was your guys' favorite line from the movies, from the G1 movie?
Well, my favorite line, I don't remember if it's from the movie or one of the episodes because we kind of did them all together, is, I've been stupid missions, but it's the stupidest mission I've ever been on.
I don't know. There were so many of them. I'm not sure. What do you know? Do you know RC's key phrase? What her key phrase is?
Silence befell the room.
Yeah. Well, I loved Hot Rod, so it probably was a line to Hot Rod. I've got to re-look at that.
Re-look at it, yeah.
Yeah.
I like what you said. You probably didn't understand the situation.
Yeah.
You probably didn't understand the situation. Thank you. Thank you for getting me out of that one.
I understood your situation.
Nice. Nicely done.
Kind of question for both of you, one at a time, if you will.
No, we're both going to talk at the same time, so you can't understand a friggin' word we're saying.
Sue, how was it that you kind of transitioned from being a voice actor to going to voice acting and just, and doing that sort of thing?
There's a lot more work for women now, but in those days, as you know, I was the only female Autobot, and tons of guys, right? Tons of guys. And I was a very lucky voiceover performer. I was hot at the time, and I had a lot of, people who work a lot because they work a lot, if that makes sense. And I had worked with all sorts of directors. I had worked with Gordon Hunt, Ginny McSwain, Wally Burr, gosh, who am I forgetting? A lot of directors, and I would, I'd be recording. I go, man, that's what I want to do. I want to conduct the actors, and because I love actors, and I am an actor, and I know how to work with actors. It was just this. It was my calling, to get into that field, and I had taught acting classes before, and I was one of the working actors who also taught. I know they always give a reputation, those who teach don't do, or whatever. Well, I did and taught. And I'll make this short. But anyway, I begged everybody, all the producers, to direct. I just made up my mind I wanted to direct, and all the directors had turned this show down. And they had asked even Andrea Romano to direct this show, and she turned it down. And finally the producer called me and said, okay, Sue, you want to direct? I went, yes! And he said, okay, excuse me, not very much money I'm going to pay you, and it's only going to probably be 5 episodes. And it's a funny little show called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh! Nice.
Didn't I have every other director in town hating my guts? And I proceeded to direct different versions of that show for 10 years. And here's the great thing, is it's being done now at Nickelodeon, and Andrea Romano, who turned that show down 100 years ago, is now directing it. So it's nice that it all, it kind of all came around. I was glad about that.
John, great for you. How did it that you got involved in Transformers? Was it something that they said, okay, we got a fast-talking Autobot, we need John, or did you actually come to audition?
No, actually, I got a phone call one day, said we wrote this part for you if you want it, so come and do it. And I said sure, and that was it. It was it's always great to be thunk of, and it's always nice to have someone offer you something when you don't have to go in and audition. That hardly ever happens anymore these days. These days you go in for an audition and there's 500 people there, all faces you recognize, whatever, that 10 years ago would have just been offered parts. So it was very nice. And it's very nice that they keep resurrecting him for at least a couple of episodes in each version. And because of the nature of the character, I'm the only person I think that's done every single version of it. And the movie actually was, even though we recorded the movie after we recorded the first season of the TV, the movie came out before the TV show.
Yep.
So, but we had already done both, so it was really weird.
And you know, and he's living proof of this. The older you get, you might look a little older, but you don't sound older, you know? I mean, I can still...
Well, that's a nice thing. It doesn't matter that I look like Grandpa now because they're going to animate me, so it doesn't matter. If I'm playing Grandpa, that's fine, but, you know, with the voices, you can look like anything, which is why I think a lot of people want to get into it because, you know, you don't have to shave, you don't have to put on makeup, you don't have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. You go and you sit in front of a microphone, and I mean, it is a very specific talent to be able to do it. I mean, Sue has done a million different voices. And Frank, who's here now, I mean, he's just, you know, the king of voices. He's got 9 million of them under his belt, which is why he's Frank Welker. But it's terrific work, and it's so much fun, and you get to be a kid, and it doesn't matter how old you are.
Yeah. It's funny because I was just looking at Frank Welker, the characters that he did in the movie, and he's, I mean, you know, Megatron, Soundwave, Rumble, Frenzy, Laserback, Ravage, Wheelie, Auto Combatant, Junkian. You know, come on. Give somebody else a chance.
Step aside. Give up the mic, Frank.
Yeah. You know, it's so interesting in casting also, too. I'll get a lot of producers who will say to me, you've got to find new people. We don't want the same people in our series that we're doing. And I'll go, okay, and I will scour the city for new talent and new voiceover people that want to get in. So you don't have to be good, you don't have to be really good, you have to be really, really, really good. Because what will happen, you'll all get your chance if you want to be in this. But what will happen is, I'll give these auditions to the producer and I'll say, okay, here's a bevy of new talent, what do you think? And they'll listen and they'll go, yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, get Frank Welker. You know, bring John in. You know that.
They like the familiarity of the voices. No, it's great, and they have. When I go into like do Blur or another character, like I've done Family Guy and Robot Chicken, they usually call me in to do a fast talking character. But then under the contract, they can give you up to 2 other characters per episode. So you get to play, you know, 3 different parts, and the other ones have nothing to do with fast talking. And actually, Seth Green is doing a new pilot of a new show, which hopefully I'm going to be playing one of the leads in, which has no fast talking in it.
That's great.
So we'll see if that happens or not. But it's great, and like you say, if you're working, and then you get more work. But so you just got to keep busy and keep out there and keep your voice. And people hear a certain familiarity in the voice, and they don't know why they like it. But my personal belief is they like it because that's the voice they've heard before, and it brings back whatever memories on a subconscious level, so they think they like that voice better.
Yeah.
Okay, this question's for Sue.
Yes.
What is the job of voice director?
What is the job for a voice director?
Yes.
I think a lot of you know this, maybe some of you don't, but we record the actors first. The writer and the producer will give me a script or a storyboard. Everybody knows what a storyboard is with all the pictures of the scenes. And I'll study that. I'll go into the recording session and I have my 6 to 10 actors there. And some of them who haven't read the script yet because they're still writing until 3 in the morning, and we'll have a 9 o'clock session and they'll bring in the script. And I will have seen the script. I will have homeworked the script. I'll put in all the write-ins that aren't there. For instance, if, come on, let's go, and the character trips, that won't be in the script, but it'll be in the description. So my job is to write in all those extra, what we call walla moves, and falls and pratfalls and stuff like that. So a lot of times an actor, they'll be given a script, and my job is the producers are sitting next to me, the writers possibly sitting next to me, The director of the episode who creates the pictures will be sitting there, and of course my job is to fulfill the playwright's intention and do the dialogue track. And because the animators will wear earphones after the dialogue track is done, and they will start to design the animation to the dialogue track. So I will sit in front of the actors and I'll go, we'll have a rehearsal, and I'll go, okay, Frankie, I want you to be, you're very evil here, you're exhausted, you're tired, and you're out of breath. And he'll go, no one shall take my kingdom from me. No one. I want those Autobots destroyed. And I'll go, okay, good, but let's get the words off the page a little bit more, a little more exhausted, a little, let's lace it with a little, put a little defeat in it. You know, let the audience know you've been fighting for a long time. Do it again. No one shall take my kingdom from me. No one. I want those Autobots destroyed. Better printed. So my job is to literally direct the acting. And why I say how much I love actors is because I don't believe in giving line readings. A lot of times an actor will say to me, Sue, give it to me. What are you looking for? And I'll go, I want and they'll go, thank you. I want those. I remember I was in England, and Sir Derek Jacobi, I was directing My Secret Garden, and I flew to England to do Derek Jacobi. And of course, you know, I was like this with him, right? Very careful and I said, I can't tell you anything about acting, and but I can tell you a little bit about animation. He went, stop right there. If you have to give me line readings, fine, we'll be out in the parking lot sooner.